Success is not something that descends from the heavens by mere chance or whim. It is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. To act as if success is already yours is not to lie to yourself, but to live in accordance with the truth of your potential. You see, everything you want to become, everything you wish to accomplish, begins as a thought, a quiet commitment made in the privacy of your own mind. It is here that the first seeds are sown, and the soil of your mind is fertile beyond measure. Whatever you choose to plant will grow, whether that be abundance or scarcity, courage or fear. Most people don't realize this. They drift, they wait for the winds of luck to blow them to some distant, undefined shore. But you're here to make a decision to choose your destination. You're here to live deliberately. If you find value in this message and want to continue on this journey of disciplined thought and deliberate action, I invite you to like this talk and subscribe so you don't miss the next step. It's not about me, it's about you making a promise to yourself to remain engaged in your own transformation. Think of it as the first small act of commitment to your new direction, an outward sign of an inward decision. When we make these conscious choices, no matter how small they seem, they set in motion the machinery of our greater destiny. By choosing to stay connected to these ideas, you're choosing to stay connected to the path you've decided to walk. Now consider this. A farmer understands that he cannot sow thorns and expect to harvest corn. He knows that the quality of his harvest depends entirely upon the seeds he chooses to plant and the care he gives them. Your mind works in exactly the same way. The thoughts you permit to dominate your consciousness become the seeds of your future. If you continually entertain fear, doubt, worry, and indecision, these will grow into the weeds that choke out every good intention you ever had. But if you deliberately plant thoughts of confidence, prosperity, and determination, you will reap a harvest to match. Acting as if success is already yours means choosing your mental seeds with care and nurturing them daily. It's astonishing how many people want success, speak about it, even dream about it, but refuse to act the part. They let their environment dictate their mood, their choices, their expectations. They say, "When I see the results, I'll believe." But that's not how any law of nature works. The soil doesn't say to the farmer, "Show me the harvest first, then I'll let your seeds grow." No, the farmer must plant first, tend first, believe first. Acting as if success is already yours is planting those seeds in faith. It is behaving today in a manner consistent with the person you wish to become tomorrow. It is refusing to wait for permission or proof before you begin to move. You have to ask yourself, who do you want to be? What life do you want to create? When you can answer those questions clearly and decisively, you've taken the first step. But it's not enough to simply write it down once or speak it once. You must carry it with you in your mind constantly, reviewing it, refining it, and living in its reality now. The mind, you see, doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It simply responds to the dominant thoughts you hold. That is why the greatest minds of every age have told us the same truth in different words. We become what we think about. This is the law, and I want you to comment this law as your first act of ownership. I am success in action. My thoughts shape my destiny. Think of this exercise not as childish fantasy, but as disciplined creative work. When you act as if success is already yours, you are not pretending in the sense of fooling yourself. You are conditioning your mind and emotions to operate at a new level. You are preparing yourself to recognize opportunities you would otherwise miss. You are setting a standard for your own behavior, one that refuses to tolerate the small thinking and fearful habits that keep most people confined to mediocrity. You're saying, I will no longer allow fear to govern me. I will not bow to circumstances. I will act now, today, in full belief that the results I seek are already on their way. If you watch successful people closely, you will see this in action. They do not wait for guarantees. They move, they plan, they learn, they adapt. And they do it all with a quiet certainty that the future will unfold in line with their vision, because they are committed to shaping it. They don't ask for permission to think big. They don't explain away their dreams because someone else might scoff. They live with the calm assurance that their thoughts, feelings, and actions are the architects of their destiny. And so must you if you wish to see the same results. This is not easy work. In fact, it can be some of the hardest work you'll ever do, because it requires you to challenge your own doubts, to wrestle with your own fears, and to stand apart from the crowd that says, be realistic, when what they really mean is, be small like us. But realism is not the enemy of vision. True realism is understanding the laws that govern success and aligning your life with them. And one of those laws is this: you cannot receive what you have not claimed. You cannot manifest what you have not first believed. To act as if success is already yours is to claim it now before you see it. As you listen to my voice, let these words sink in deeply. Make this commitment not as something you try for a week and abandon, but as a new way of living. For the next 30 days, I want you to act as though success is already yours. Get up each morning and ask yourself, how would I behave today if I knew success was guaranteed? Speak with that quiet authority. Plan with that conviction. Move with that confidence. If you will do this sincerely, persistently, you will find that circumstances begin to bend in your favor in ways you never imagined. Because you are no longer waiting for permission to live the life you want. You are claiming it. They do not sit idly by waiting for someone else to tell them it is time to begin. They move, they speak, they decide, as if success were their birthright. And in truth it is. It is yours as well if you will claim it. The difference is not in talent or luck or circumstance. It is in belief and the courage to act on that belief. The person who waits for perfect conditions will wait forever. The person who demands certainty before acting will watch as life passes him by. Acting as if success is already yours is not arrogance. It is the highest form of humility. It is acknowledging that you are willing to do what is required, to pay the price, to become the person who can handle the rewards you seek. Let's think about this idea of paying the price. Many want success, but few are willing to pay what it costs. I don't mean merely money, though that too is part of it. I mean the price of discipline, of focus, of consistency. The price of enduring failure and disappointment without surrendering your vision. The price of daily effort, often unrecognized, often unrewarded for long stretches. Success asks, will you act as if you deserve it before there is evidence? Most people will not. They will say, prove it to me first. But that is not how the world works. That is not how any meaningful achievement has ever been built. Those who achieve great things are those who decide they will pay the price in advance. They plant the seeds, knowing the harvest will come in its own season. You see, nature demands this law be obeyed. For every effect there is a cause. For every reward there is labor. You do not get to harvest before you plant. And you do not get to receive before you give. Think of a man who sits before a cold stove and says, "Give me heat, and then I'll add wood." He will freeze waiting. The universe is designed to reward those who act first, who believe first, who give first. This is the law of sowing and reaping, and it cannot be circumvented. Acting as if success is already yours is the act of adding wood to the fire before you see the flame. It is faith in action. It is practical wisdom applied daily. Now you might ask yourself, how can I do this in my own life? How do I act as if success is mine, when my bank account is low, when my circumstances seem against me? You begin in the only place you can, your thoughts. You decide that you will not let the evidence of your senses dictate the limits of your belief. You choose your dominant thoughts deliberately. You reject fear not by ignoring it, but by replacing it with faith. You see the end you desire so clearly that it begins to feel inevitable. You speak about it with calm confidence. You make plans as if you were certain of success. And then you take daily, consistent action in alignment with that vision. Most will scoff at this. They will say it is unrealistic. But ask yourself, has their realism brought them peace? Has it brought them prosperity? Or has it brought them only worry, limitation, and regret? The so-called realists are often nothing more than frightened pessimists, too afraid to try, too afraid to hope. But the builders of our world, the inventors, the artists, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, they all acted as if their visions were real, long before anyone else could see them. They lived their dreams before they were visible, and in doing so, they made them real. This is not magic, it is law. Let me make this clear. Acting as if success is yours does not mean ignoring reality. It means shaping reality by directing your thoughts, your words, and your actions toward what you want. It means refusing to dwell on obstacles longer than necessary to plan your way through them. It means seeing setbacks not as signals to stop, but as lessons to improve. It means carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows where they're going, even if the road is not yet clear. It is being the captain who sets the course even when the stars are hidden by clouds. You must understand that every day you are training your mind to expect something. Most people train it to expect failure, disappointment, struggle. They rehearse their worries, they talk about their limitations, they share their fears with anyone who will listen. And then they wonder why life delivers exactly what they expect. But you can choose a different training. You can wake each morning and remind yourself of your goal. You can picture it in detail. You can ask, what would the person I want to become do today? How would they speak? How would they respond to this challenge? And then you can act accordingly, even if it feels awkward at first. This is the work, this is the price, and this is the promise, that if you will persist, if you will commit, the day will come when it is no longer an act. It will simply be who you are. Your thoughts will naturally turn to solutions instead of problems. Your words will naturally inspire instead of discourage. Your actions will naturally align with your highest values and deepest goals. This is the transformation I am inviting you to begin today. So if you're ready to claim this, I want you to write it below as your own commitment. I am the cause of my success. I act as if it is already mine, because in truth it is. Now let's look deeper at this idea of cause and effect, because if you understand this single law and truly apply it, you will hold the key to unlocking any result you want in life. Most people drift through their days thinking that life is something that happens to them. They believe they are at the mercy of luck, circumstances, the economy, the decisions of others. They forget or never learn the unbreakable truth. Life is not something that simply happens to you, it is something you shape by the causes you set in motion. You are the cause and your life is the effect. This is not philosophy for its own sake. This is the most practical, the most real truth you can ever learn. And it applies whether you accept it or not. You see it in nature everywhere. A farmer does not question whether the soil will produce a harvest. He knows it will, provided he does his part. He knows that planting seeds, tending them, watering them, protecting them from pests, that is the cause, the harvest is the effect. No one can stand in the middle of an empty field and beg for crops to appear without doing the work. Yet how many people live their lives exactly this way? They hope for wealth without offering service. They want love without giving it. They want respect without showing character. They wait for their lives to change while doing nothing to change themselves. This is why most people fail. They break the law of cause and effect by ignoring it, but the law itself remains unbroken. Now consider what this means for you. If you want success, you must become the cause of that success. You must set the right causes in motion, consistently, persistently, faithfully. You cannot wait for permission. You cannot wait for guarantees, and you cannot wait for someone else to do it for you. You must plant the seeds yourself. And you must do it without resentment, without complaint, without the expectation of immediate results, because the law works in its own time. The harvest always comes after the planting, never before. This is why patience is not just a virtue, but a requirement. It is part of the price you must pay. Let me be even clearer. Every thought you think is a cause. Every word you speak is a cause. Every action you take is a cause. And all of these causes produce effects, whether you want them to or not. Think carefully about this. When you speak of your limitations, you are sowing the seeds of limitation. When you dwell on your fears, you are watering them. When you act with doubt, you reinforce it. But when you choose to speak of your goals, to dwell on your vision, to act with faith, you are planting seeds of success. This is not magic. It is simply how the mind works. It takes the dominant thoughts you feed it and seeks to make them real. It enlists your subconscious, your habits, your emotions, even the opportunities you notice in the world around you. Most people will not do this. They will say, it is too simple. Or they will try it for a day or two and give up because they see no immediate change. But you must understand that real change is built over time. Just as you cannot build strength in your body with a single day of exercise, you cannot build success in your mind with a single day of positive thinking. It is daily practice, daily commitment, daily choice. And if you are willing to do this work, the results will be inevitable. They cannot help but appear, because you will have set the causes in motion that demand those results. This is why I ask you to be deliberate about what you think, what you say, and what you do. Do not let your mind wander aimlessly. Do not speak carelessly. Do not act thoughtlessly. Each is a seed that will grow. Choose your seeds with intention. Speak only what you wish to create. Act only in ways that bring you closer to your vision. And when you stumble, and you will, correct your course quickly. Do not allow a single failure to become a habit. Do not allow a single doubt to take root. Weed your mind just as you would a garden. Protect it, tend it, and you will be amazed at what it produces. Let me offer you a phrase to carry with you today, something to write down, to reflect on, and to share in the comments as your personal commitment. I am the cause. Success is the effect. Let those words remind you daily of your power and your responsibility. Because make no mistake, this power is yours whether you use it or not. You are always planting something. The only question is what? You can plant fear, doubt, bitterness, and reap disappointment and frustration. Or you can plant faith, purpose, gratitude, and reap success and peace of mind. The choice is always yours. I want you to imagine now what your life would look like if you lived this truth fully. If every morning you woke with the awareness that you are the cause of your own success. If you spent the first quiet moments of the day choosing your dominant thoughts, shaping them with care, feeding them with faith. If every word you spoke was an affirmation of your purpose. If every action you took was aligned with your highest goals. Can you see it? That is not fantasy. That is the direct and inevitable result of understanding and applying this law. It is yours for the taking, if you will only choose it. Now let us talk about the price you must pay, for nothing of value is ever gained without cost. Many people shrink from this idea because they want ease, they want comfort, they want guarantees before they commit. But life does not work that way. The universe demands payment in advance. It demands that you demonstrate your faith through your effort, your discipline, your willingness to endure discomfort and uncertainty. This is not punishment. This is the very mechanism that ensures that only those who are truly prepared can handle the rewards they seek. For what would it mean if great wealth, success, and influence were handed freely to anyone who asked, regardless of their readiness? It would destroy them. The price is what prepares you. The price is what makes you worthy. You see this everywhere in nature. The oak does not spring up overnight. It grows slowly, season by season, sending its roots deep into the soil, so that when the storms come, and they always come, it can stand unmoved. The same is true for you. The disciplines you build, the sacrifices you make, the consistency you maintain, all of these are the roots of your success. They cannot be skipped or rushed. Most people want the rewards but refuse to pay the price. They want to harvest without planting. They want to receive without giving. They want to be admired without developing character. But nature does not allow it. It demands the price be paid in full in advance without guarantee of the timing. What is this price? It is many things. It is waking early to plan your day when you would rather sleep. It is studying when others are entertained. It is practicing your craft when no one is watching. It is holding your tongue when anger tempts you to speak. It is choosing faith when doubt seems more reasonable. It is acting with courage when fear clutches at your heart. It is doing the right thing even when no one will ever know. This is the price. And those who pay it quietly and consistently over time become the masters of their destiny. They discover that the price was not a punishment, but the path. The price is what transforms you. Let us not pretend that this is easy. It is not. But that is precisely why it is so valuable. Anything that is easy is also cheap. Anything that costs nothing is worth nothing. The price you pay in effort, in time, in sacrifice, these are the investments you make in yourself. They are the proof of your belief in your own vision. They are the way you say to the world and to yourself, I am serious. I am committed. I will not be denied. And understand this clearly. The moment you make such a commitment, truly and deeply, the universe begins to move on your behalf. Opportunities appear. Resources are found. Helpers arrive. But they come only after you have paid the price of decision and action. Most will never do this. They will look for shortcuts, tricks, easy answers. They will blame others for their failures. They will say life is unfair, the game is rigged, success is for the lucky or the corrupt. And in saying so, they guarantee their own mediocrity. They excuse themselves from responsibility and so forfeit their power. But you can be different. You can choose to accept the price, to embrace it, even to welcome it. Because you will know that every bit of effort, every sacrifice, every moment of discipline is a brick in the foundation of your future success. And in time, you will come to see that the price was never really a cost at all, but an investment that paid you back many times over. I want you to understand this. You will pay a price either way. You will pay the price of discipline, effort, and persistence now, or you will pay the price of regret, frustration, and disappointment later. There is no avoiding payment. The question is only what you choose to buy with it. Do you want the life you dream of, the peace of mind that comes from knowing you did your best, the respect that can only be earned? Or do you want the easy path now, followed by years of wondering what might have been? The choice is always yours, and I invite you to declare that choice today, to anchor it with these words in the comments: I will pay the price. I claim my future. Because that declaration is the beginning of power. When you say to yourself, I will pay the price, you take back control of your life. You stop waiting. You stop hoping someone else will save you. You become the architect of your own destiny. You understand that nothing is free except the opportunity to choose, and you choose to act. That is the mark of every person who has ever built anything meaningful, who has ever changed their own life, who has ever left behind a legacy. They paid the price willingly, and in doing so, they earned the right to the rewards. And so can you, if you will only choose. Now let's turn to the role of vision, for without vision, effort is wasted. Vision is the ability to see with the mind what does not yet exist in the world. It is the blueprint of your future, the compass that guides your actions, the standard against which you measure your decisions. Most people drift because they have no vision. They get up each day and react to whatever comes their way. They are like a ship without a chart or compass, tossed by every wind, driven by every current, surprised when they run aground. They confuse motion with progress, activity with achievement. But you cannot build anything meaningful without first seeing it clearly in your mind. Vision is the great differentiator. It is what separates those who create from those who merely consume. The builder sees the finished house before the first brick is laid. The artist sees the completed painting before the first stroke of the brush. The entrepreneur sees the thriving business before the first sale is made. This is not fantasy. This is the necessary precondition of creation. Everything you see around you was first an idea in someone's mind. The chair you sit on, the device you listen on, the building you live in, all of it existed first as vision. And the same is true of your life. You will live the life you can see, no more, no less. So let me ask you, what is your vision? Do you even have one? Can you state it clearly, simply, confidently, or is it vague, uncertain, borrowed from others? The reason most people fail is not that they aim too high and miss, but that they aim too low and hit. Or worse, they never aim at all. They simply exist day after day with no destination in mind. And then they wonder why they feel lost, why they feel unfulfilled, why they feel frustrated. It is because they are living without vision. And life without vision is not life at all, but mere survival. But you can be different. You can choose to craft a vision for yourself. Not just any vision, but one that is worthy of you, one that inspires you, one that demands the best of you. This is not about arrogance or selfishness. It is about recognizing that you have one life, and it is your sacred duty to make it count. To waste it in aimless wandering is an insult to the potential you have been given. When you craft a vision and commit to it, you give your life direction, purpose, meaning. You wake up each day with something to work toward, something to fight for, something to become. Crafting your vision requires honesty. You must look within and ask, what do I truly want? Not what others want for me, not what I think is safe or acceptable, but what I truly desire, what would make my life feel full, meaningful, complete. This is not easy work. It takes courage to admit what you really want. It takes even more courage to pursue it, because once you see it clearly, you can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer claim ignorance. You are responsible, and many avoid this responsibility because it is uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the price of growth. So I challenge you today to define your vision, to write it down in clear, specific terms, to keep it where you can see it every day, to review it each morning as you begin your day and each evening as you end it. Let it guide your choices, shape your habits, direct your energy. Let it be the standard you measure your actions against. And when you are tempted to stray, when you are tempted to compromise, return to that vision. Remind yourself why you began. This is the discipline of vision, and it is one of the highest forms of self-respect. Remember this law: where there is no vision, the people perish. It is as true today as it was when first spoken. A person without vision lives at the mercy of circumstances. A person with vision bends circumstances to their will. A person without vision is easily discouraged. A person with vision endures. A person without vision drifts. A person with vision leads. This is the choice before you. And I invite you to make it boldly, to claim it openly by writing in the comments, "I see my future clearly. I live my vision daily." Because in the end, you will become what you envision. Your life will be the outpicturing of your dominant thoughts, your most persistent dreams. Do not leave this to chance. Do not delegate it to others. Take hold of it, shape it, own it, because no one else can do it for you. And when you do, you will discover a power within yourself you never knew existed. You will find that the world responds to you differently. Opportunities appear, resources align. People are drawn to your certainty because the world respects the person who knows where they are going. Now let us speak about discipline. For vision without discipline is merely a dream. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the daily commitment to act in alignment with your vision, even when it is hard, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity or even vision, but because they lack discipline. They allow moods, whims, and outside circumstances to dictate their actions. They say, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'm not feeling motivated," and so they waste days, weeks, years waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Discipline does not wait for motivation. Discipline acts regardless of feeling. Understand this truth. Discipline is freedom. Though it may seem restrictive at first, it is the key to liberation. A person who is undisciplined is a slave to their impulses, to distractions, to the moods of others, to the chaos of the world. But the disciplined person is free to create, to choose, to move steadily toward their goals, no matter what storms arise. Discipline is the quiet force that says, "I will do what I said I would do." It is the act of honoring your own word to yourself. And there is no greater respect you can show yourself than to keep the promises you make to yourself. You might ask, how do I develop discipline? The answer is simple, though not easy. You begin by deciding. Discipline always begins with a decision, a commitment made in clarity. You decide that your vision matters more than your comfort. You decide that your vision matters more than your excuses. And then you back up that decision with action. Small, consistent action. Not grand gestures that exhaust you for a day and leave you empty the next, but steady, reliable effort day after day. Discipline is built in the small moments, the quiet choices when no one is watching, the daily rituals that become the foundation of your character. Most will not do this. They will look for shortcuts, hacks, easy answers. They will envy the disciplined, but refuse to pay the price of discipline themselves. And so they remain where they are. But you can be different. You can choose the path of discipline. You can set your alarm a little earlier. You can plan your day before it begins. You can study when others are entertained. You can work on your craft when others waste time. You can exercise your body and mind even when you are tired. And each act of discipline strengthens you, shapes you, prepares you for the success you desire. Consider the oak tree again. It grows slowly but steadily. It does not rush. It does not complain. It simply does what it must do every single day. Its roots go deeper, its trunk grows stronger, its branches reach higher. This is discipline in nature, a quiet, relentless force that cannot be stopped. Be like the oak. Build your roots deep with consistent effort, strengthen your character with daily choices, reach toward your vision with unwavering commitment. Do not be swayed by the winds of distraction or the storms of adversity. Stand firm in your purpose. There is a law I want you to remember. Success is nothing more than disciplined action applied consistently over time. Write this in the comments to claim it for yourself. I act with discipline. I build my success daily. Let this be your promise, your mantra, your standard, because discipline is not something you do once. It is something you live. It is not a task to complete, but a way of being. And over time, it becomes who you are. The person who is disciplined does not struggle to make the right choice each day. It becomes natural, automatic, expected. This is the gift of discipline. It makes greatness inevitable. Imagine your life with true discipline. Imagine knowing exactly what you want, making a plan to achieve it, and following that plan every day without fail. Imagine the confidence that would grow within you, the respect you would earn from others, the results you would see stacking up over weeks, months, years. This is not fantasy. This is the promise of discipline. It is available to you if you will choose it. And once chosen, it will change everything. Because discipline turns vision into reality. It turns intention into achievement. It turns you into the person you always hoped you could be. Now let us turn our attention to service, for all the vision, discipline, and effort in the world are wasted if they are aimed only at serving yourself. Service is the true foundation of all lasting success. The rewards you seek, wealth, respect, influence, peace of mind, are not prizes you snatch from the world by force. They are the world's payment to you in direct proportion to the value you provide. This is the unbreakable law. Your rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to your service. Understand this, and you hold the key to any level of success you desire. Ignore it, and you will be forever frustrated, wondering why effort seems to bring so little in return. Most people misunderstand this law entirely. They ask, "How can I get more?" instead of asking, "How can I give more?" They focus on what they lack rather than on what they can contribute. They see service as beneath them, as something forced, as a chore to be avoided. And in doing so, they cut themselves off from the very rewards they crave. Service is not servitude, it is not slavery, it is the most elevated expression of your value in the world. When you serve, you do not diminish yourself, you reveal your true worth. You say, "I have something to offer. I am willing to share it. I will make your life better." And in return, life rewards you with opportunities, wealth, loyalty, and respect. Consider the great businesses of the world. What are they? Truly, they are systems of service. They exist to solve problems, to meet needs, to make life better for others. The greater the service, the greater the reward. This is why some companies grow from humble beginnings to global giants, because they find ways to serve more people more effectively. The same is true for individuals. The most successful people are those who understand this law and live by it daily. They do not ask how little they can get away with. They ask how much they can contribute. They measure their days not by what they took, but by what they gave. You must do the same. Ask yourself, how can I serve? How can I make my work more valuable to others? How can I solve problems better than anyone else? How can I make life easier, more joyful, more productive for those I encounter? These are the questions that lead to growth, opportunity, and lasting success. And do not make the mistake of thinking that service must always be grand or public. Some of the most powerful service is quiet, personal, even unseen. It is the kindness you show to your family, the extra effort you put into your work, the integrity you maintain when no one is watching. These small acts of service build your character, your reputation, your destiny. Let us make this practical. Every day, commit to finding at least one way to serve better. Look for needs around you. Listen carefully to the problems people share, even when they don't state them directly. Be the person who offers solutions, who lends a hand, who shares knowledge freely. In doing so, you will become indispensable. You will stand out without trying to. You will earn trust, loyalty, and gratitude. And over time, those things will translate into every reward you can imagine. Financial security, meaningful relationships, peace of mind, because service is the only sustainable path to success. Remember this law: your rewards will always match your service. I want you to write this in the comments now to claim it and commit to it. I serve with purpose. My rewards reflect my value. Let this be your daily reminder, your guiding principle, because when you truly embrace this law, you free yourself from envy, from resentment, from fear of competition. You understand that no one else can block your success if you are committed to greater service. You see challenges as opportunities to serve more deeply. You see setbacks as lessons that refine your ability to serve. And you know that in serving others, you ultimately serve yourself. Imagine what your life would look like if you adopted this principle fully. If every day you focused on giving more, on solving more problems, on lifting more people. Imagine the reputation you would build, the network you would create, the opportunities that would come your way. This is not theory. It is proven, time and time again, by every person who has achieved lasting success. Service is the seed you plant that always bears fruit, often in ways you cannot predict or control. But the harvest is certain, if you are faithful in planting. This is why I tell you, make service your philosophy, not a tactic. Do not see it as a temporary strategy to get ahead, but as the very way you live and work every single day. Because when service is woven into your character, you no longer have to think about how to gain respect or loyalty. They come to you naturally. You no longer have to worry about competition, because no one can outdo your commitment to delivering value. You stop measuring your worth by what you can take, and start measuring it by what you can give. And in that shift, you unlock a kind of success that cannot be stolen, lost, or faked. Now let me speak to those who worry that they have given much already and received little in return. They say, "I have served, but I'm not seeing the rewards." To you I say, be patient. The harvest does not always come in the season you expect. Sometimes your service is building your character, your skills, your resilience. Sometimes the rewards take time to arrive because you need to grow to be ready to receive them. And sometimes you are sowing seeds in places you cannot see, where they will grow in unexpected ways. Do not give up on this law because you do not see instant results. This is not a world of instant reward. It is a world of consistent cause and effect. The greatest mistake you can make is to say, "I will give only if I am sure to get." That is not service, it is transaction. And people can feel the difference. Real service is given without expectation, in faith that the law is true, because it is. Life cannot help but return to you what you put into it. You do not have to know how or when. You only have to know that it will. And so you continue to serve, continue to give, continue to improve the quality and quantity of what you offer. This is how you become not just successful, but irreplaceable. Think of the calm and steady individual you admire most. Likely they are not the loudest, the flashiest, or the most self-congratulatory. They are the ones who deliver, quietly and consistently. The ones you can count on, the ones whose words carry weight because they are backed by action. That is who you must aim to be. Let your calm be rooted in your commitment to serve. Let your respect come not from demanding it, but from earning it, one act of value at a time. This is the path of real leadership. For the next 30 days, I want you to test this principle as you have tested all the others. Wake each morning and ask, who can I serve today? How can I serve better than I did yesterday? Make it a conscious practice, not an afterthought. Keep a record if you must. Notice how it changes your mood, your energy, your relationships, your opportunities. Notice how the very act of serving transforms you. Because it will. Service does not just change what you receive, it changes who you are. I want you to write this now as a final declaration of this journey. I serve calmly. I earn respect through giving. I build success through service. Make it real by making it yours. Speak it aloud every morning for the next month. Let it sink into your thinking, your choices, your habits. Because once it does, you will never go back. You will see the truth so clearly that you will wonder how you ever believed anything else. I want to thank you for walking through these lessons with me, for choosing not the easy path of reaction and impulse, but the disciplined path of calm, of purpose, of service. This is not a short-term fix or a motivational slogan. This is a way of living that will elevate every aspect of your life if you truly adopt it. And before we close, if this message has spoken to you, if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it. Like it, leave your reflections below. By doing so, you help spread these ideas further, and you might just change someone else's life as well. Remember always, calm commands respect. Service builds wealth. Purpose shapes destiny. These are not mere words. They are the laws that govern success for anyone willing to follow them. Live them daily